is Johnny Israeli. Also, welcome to the Jonnyizz show. So, for first one of the year, first one actually ever. Well, so I'm going to talk about knives. Welcome to Knife 101. This one, it's going to be maybe 2-3 parts, and we'll see how it goes. Basically, choosing a knife. There's so many different types out there. There's fixed blades, there's folders, there's switchblades, there's this, that, and the kitchen sink. You gotta know your state. Depending on where you live, what country, what state, every place has its own rules and regulations and laws. I know for state of Texas, you can carry up to a 5.5-inch blade. It can be fixed or folding. Federal here in the U.S. is 2-inch, and most states vary between 3 and 3.5, except for your occasional like Texas or New York, where you can carry larger. But here in the States and most everywhere, the switchblades are illegal. And most places don't like you carrying a fixed blade. Now, what's a fixed blade versus a folding, we'll cover a little bit later, but essentially a fixed blade is a blade that's a solid piece. Handle and blade are all one, doesn't fold, doesn't go into separate pieces. Folder, this is what you most commonly see around everyone carrying. The biggest thing I'm going to say is when you go to choose a knife, think about the areas you're going to use it for. Is it a daily carrier? Is it the hunting, the camping, the emergency knife that you keep in your rig? Is it what? What are you going to use it for? If you don't think about what you're using it for, you don't plan, you just go all out willy-nilly and start buying knives, you know. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering, why is this kid talking about it? I've been collecting knives since I was about 6-7 years old. Gonna be 24 soon. So 17 years of experience in maintenance and handling. I have some idea of what, and I collect knives since then. So I have a lot going on. Choosing that knife definitely can make a difference, because once you figure out what type you're going to be using it for, blade type makes a difference, and where you carry it. So there's so many different blades out there, it's ridiculous, but your most common ones are going to be drop point, Tonto, where it's Japanese style or American, whichever. You'll get a clip edge, you'll get one with a gut hook on it, you'll get all these different types. If you even type in on Google or whatever search engine you fancy, whether it's I search this because I want to.com or biteme.com, go over, whatever. Look up, type in different knife blade types. You'll get everything in the kitchen sink plus the house to show up. Brands, everyone has their own preferences. Most common knives today that you find are primarily made of stainless steel, varying from your basic 420 all the way up to what some people call your super steels, and so on and so forth. There are even people out there who make their own knives. Making our knife can be tricky. Me personally, I'm going to be giving it a shot soon, so we'll see how that goes. But everything's got its own thing, this, that, and whatnot. So when you choose a knife, choose it. Do your research on it. Make sure if you're carrying around every day, it's going to fall within your state laws or your country's laws. That definitely makes a hell of a difference, whether you're going to be spending money to not only get the knife back and get the knife and the fee and lawyers and everything else and whatever else. But so we're gonna cover a little bit different types of knives. There's all different types. So when you hear drop point, here's one, and it's a folder. This is the Leatherman 33LX. Essentially, it's what makes this one different than some of the others is that besides the thumb guard, the pocket clip / bottle opener, and also this clip. So yeah, pocket clip, thumb, boom, boom, boom. Also, right here on the back, you have another way to open a knife. Me personally, this one's nice, but I find it works better as a lock to help prevent little kids because it takes a little bit more to open it. But this is essentially your drop point type blade. Then you have dagger type, which is very common. You see them a lot of times. This is a Smith & Wesson throwing knife, which has the dagger, which, as you can tell, has that conical bullet shape at the ends and comes to a point. This is also a fixed blade. As you notice, it's solid. It's literally one whole piece of material, or it has a handle that doesn't fold. You also, and then if you look at my Leatherman, it's a folder. I do the lock, fold it, boom, good to go, put it in my pocket. Then you have a clip edge. Clip edge is, as you can tell from this little bitty sucker, goes straight and then drops down. This is a Kershaw, what is this one? Coral Creek. One of the first knives I bought when I first started carrying a knife on me. Not really one of my favorites. It's a great little learner. Reason I don't like it too much is primarily because the blade is very brittle. And I like a blade to really hold an edge. Then you have the Tonto I was telling you about. This is the Gerber Guardian. If you're wondering, I enjoy it. It's actually kind of a nice little backup boot knife. If you notice, a lot of the ones I'm going to be showing are primarily big U.S. name brands and whatnot. Like I said, I've been collecting knives for a long time. So here's another type of drop point. This is Spyderco's knife. Spyderco's typical knife blade is a drop point. And whatnot, and this one's also a folder on the heavy side. And then you have, here's sort of your, what is it? It's not, you have a hook blade, which is essentially the tip curves down and away. And then you have, similar to a clip point, but it's a high rise, it's a trail clip, is where the tip actually comes up higher, similar to this. Now this one is a unique, this is actually a collector's knife that has two different edges. It has a straight edge on it on one side and then a serrated on the back. Like I said, it's a collector's knife. It's not one you're going to carry on every day. So now when you choose, that's just different blade types. We're not even talking the edging on the blade. There's three main edging types that you can find on any knife. You have, like you saw on the Kershaw, a straight or a fine. Depending on the company, they all say different ones. This is straight, as you can tell, no serrations, very straight, very clean. Then you have serrated, which is like the Spyderco you saw. All serrated. No, just the only time it's straight is really at the tip for the start of the serrations. Then you have my personal favorite, which are majority of my knives, which is in my opinion, the best of both worlds. You get the serration, which really has a long life on it and low sharpening maintenance. But you also get the straight edge, which has a little bit higher, but a little bit more usability, which is the half and half. So it's half serration, half straight. Like on my Leatherman, most of my knives. There's this one I like because the knife is broken down to primarily 3 parts on the blade. You have your top third, you have realistically you have, well, actually 4, but you have your edge, your point, your back third, your middle third, or your top third, back, middle, and whatnot. Now here at the base of the blade where the edging is, you can see that it's serrated at the base. Most of the time when you go cut things, you're not going to be cutting down here at the top. You're cutting primarily at the thickest part of the blade, especially on drop points, or most knives in general, that when you act similar as a saw. So, but when you're opening, say, a box, you're not really digging full in and slicing away. Now, on top of all those, we have, as you saw, we have fixed folders, whatnot. There's also another type in between a folder and an automatic knife. A lot of times it's misconstrued as an automatic knife, is your assisted opening. Assisted opening, some companies may call it FAST, which is forward assisted spring technology. I know Gerber uses that and a couple other companies. It's assisted opening where it still requires you to push the blade open, but once it's started open, it swings open the rest of the way. Switch blades, you have a button that you push and the blade comes out. So now, me personally, this is one of my daily carriers, is the Gerber Fast Draw. It's an assisted opening knife. One of the reasons why I like it more than most other assisting openings is right here on the side, there's a little safety, and when you have little kids around or whatnot, or you have people who are not knife cautious or conscientious when they hand people blades, because it happens very often. I like it because it's a safety. It allows me to open and close it and not have to worry about it. But also, if I leave it out and a little kid tries to grab it, it's a little bit more complicated. So it makes it easier for me not to have to worry so much, even though I keep my knives a lot of times out of their reach. But assisted opening, as you can tell, I'm just going to push lightly. Alright, so I'm just going to pull, and I'm going to let go. As you saw, you hear it snap. There's a spring that swings the blade open. Now the safety, similar to most firearms, it has a red dot. Red meaning active or fire. So it's easy to unlock. This one has serration, drop point. It's a drop point blade, straight and serration on it. Alright. And I always lock the safety. I never leave it unlocked, because if you drop it or whoever, stuff happens. It's life. Don't like it, get over it. You're not gonna always get the best stuff. That's a lot that I just covered. I mean, we covered not only different, like how different places work with different rules, but also different blade types, different metals. I mean, literally, knife blades are primarily stainless steel, but you do see some that are regular old 10 series, 11 series steel. You also see a couple people use a 51 series steel. I mean, there's all types. I've even seen people attempt, and it doesn't really work out too well, but make a knife out of aluminum or have a knife made out of aluminum. I personally don't like them. I find them a lot of times too light and too fragile. So sharpening wise, they are utterly crappy. So, you know, stuff happens, and it's just things you gotta deal with. But yeah, probably be another one out on at least maintenance. That's always a key. And with maintenance, also knife handling. Handling is definitely always an important key fact, because if you hand the knife off incorrectly, you can either hurt yourself, hurt somebody else, or worse, end up 6 feet under. So you gotta be smart. You gotta think. I mean, come on. It might take a village to raise a child, but it only takes a dumbass to end up 6 feet in the ground. So you definitely use your head. Be smart. Don't do stupid shit. Thanks for watching. Next one should be out shortly. Have a great day. Oh, and one more thing. Keep the eye on the target, because that's the goal in life.